Well, this is me, giving everything to go back to the group after a big crash. Hi crankers, hi sprinters, welcome back for a new episode here at Crank Sprint Chronicles, episode number 30. People are afraid to crash or quite scared to be in the group when we do crits. Everyone picture the crits like those nasty races where everyone trying to push down the rest of the people. Let's see how to win your fears and avoid crashing on crits. Let's jump onto my week as usual with the rest Monday and a race Tuesday. Last race of the series, week number 17 for my second race of category 3. A lot of attacks since the beginning, but none of the attacks sticks. There's a big crash just after the mini hill. I managed to avoid the crash. It was literally in front of me. I went out in the grass, put down the foot, and this is me pushing as much as I can to go back to the group. Nothing really much happens. A few people are shaken after the crash, but others, they try to attack. They used to do this a bit of here and there moment in the group to attack until we go to the last few laps, and there's a rider of Le Col that goes off by himself, and he eventually managed to take enough advantage to arrive at the front of the group at the end of the race. But the most important for me is to look at where I am. Here is the last lap. The group is going really fast. The sprint unfortunately is for the second place. Some people try to attack anticipating the last lap. I believe it's a bit too late. I'm here really at the front. The position versus last race has been not the best. This time is really there. I'm really in a good position. I am at the front. I feel good on my legs. I feel good this time I can do the sprint. Here, as you can see, there's not really much space. I don't know if pass, stay. The turn here open up the group, and here I lose a bit the wheels of Marcus, which is in front of me. I come back, as you can see here on the last turn. I launch my sprint again, really tight here on the left. You can hear me shouting left because I'm passing on the left. I really get the speed. I feel really well on this sprint. So I arrive really close at the guys at the front. Out sprinted, as you can see in the video here, for a tiny bit from the rider of Kenton RC, and I finish in 7th position. I'm really happy with this. My first time in the points in category 3 on my second race, which I'm really happy with that, and looking forward for the next races. But the best thing is by only 2 points, the London Dynamo won the West Thames League. Among all the teams, we are the one who scored the most points, 309 points, just 2 points ahead of Le Col and then Wally Wheelers, the finish 3rd. So we're really happy. As you can see, we collect this big mystery box. Let's now talk about tip number 1 to avoid crashes on crit. Very important and very easy to understand. Please brake. If there's no space, you should brake. You know Mark Cavendish, you know Jasper Philipsen, you probably won't pass in that little gap in front of you. So it's better if you brake and then you leave it pass. Sometimes you might lose a position, you might lose a sprint, you might get boxed, but then you stay on your bike is the best for your safety, for other safety. But at the same time, don't brake too hard, don't block your disc, don't block your rim brake. If not, someone else, if he's too close to you, the risk is they crash into you, or also you cause unnecessary blocks and breaks up and down the groups. Tip number 2 is pick. Always pick, so you can shout right, you can shout left, don't swear at each other. Always make sure they know you are coming. If there's not much space, say that you're left, say that you're right. If it's also a relaxed part of the race, you can also have a chat of other stuff, but don't get too relaxed, and make sure you always watch out in front of you, because if someone breaks in front of you and you're too relaxed, then here you go. Tip number 3, you cannot save your bike if you do impossible trajectories. There is nice line, follow the line from the guys in front of you. The circuit is to be repeated many times, most of the races. So learn up turns, learn how to do it very clean. Try to recover 10 position with an impossible trajectory and come in at the very end and full on your brakes. This will cause a crash or will cause a lot of people upset. Ride clean, and you know Pogacar But let's go back on my week. On the Wednesday, I went to the Richmond Park Zone 2. Actually became a bit more of a Zone 3 with glimpse of Zones 4 on the clockwise lap. Good recovery with a bit of push that is never too much, I would say. Times. Problem is that on the Thursday, I wanted to do intervals. I went out running. Problem with the GPS. I still wanted to run. It was a very hard run. Intervals 2 minutes at Zone 2 and 1 minute in Zone 5, and I repeated for 12 times. Felt well during the training, but it was a big hit on my legs after the training. And I felt it on Friday, where I had to take a rest. Tips number 4 is about concentration. Hold always the hand on your brakes. You can be in a very aero position without hitting the brakes if you are at the front, if you are behind, if you are in the middle of the pack. Always, I'll say, always 2 fingers on the brakes. Always be ready to brake, because there's constant braking, accelerating, braking, especially if the pack is really big. So really concentrate when you're racing. Follow the guys at the front. Don't look at the birds. Don't look at the hares around. Don't look at the ladies. Look at the wheel in front of you. Look at the guys in front of you. And again, on top of talking, you should be able to avoid crashing on crate. Tip number 5, a bit more of a difficult one here, is to stay at the front. When there are crashes in the group, they always happen in the middle of the pack, sometimes at the end. So there's occasions where also they happen at the front, on the final sprint. If you are at the back, you're 100% affected. If you are at the back, most of the time you either have to stop, you're involved in the crash, you have to wait until the road is emptied out, you get a bit more scared, you get a bit more nervous, you got the anxiety coming up. So try always to stay in the middle of the pack or at the front. You also save a lot of energy. Being at the front, in the middle of the pack, you're always very aware of what's going on. If there's attacks, if there's stretches, brakes, acceleration, brakes, acceleration. If you are at the back, you do more efforts. You have to spend more energy to go back. There's an attack, you're at the back, you're out of the action. I know it's a very difficult part of cycling in crits, especially when the pack is really like 40, 50, 60 plus in a very little circuit. But this is really crucial point to avoid crashes. Going back to my training, on the Saturday I did a classic Richmond Park. This time I did it with a group 3. Didn't feel a max after the interval training of the Thursday. After 2 days I was still really affected by the interval training. It took quite a bit for me to get the legs rolling. Forgot to turn on the camera. In fact, you can see I literally turned it on the last lap here, where I attacked as usual up Dark Hill. Got a bit of distance, I distanced a bit the group. 2 guys first, they came back to me, as you can see here. We went down the Brunswick descent. The pack came back to us on the very final stretch. So we were able to group all together. Then the legs at that point felt really well. There was a bit of here and there, a guy attacked in advance, so at 300 meters, 280. I tried to anticipate, I did a very nice and clean sprint, and I arrived actually first at the bridge. Sunday after work, Zone 2 with Matteo, Richmond Park. I did 40 kilometers. Unexpectedly, the wind was coming from east. Nice training, perfect Z2 to complete and relax the week. Let me know in the comments down below if you found those tips to avoid crashing in crits useful. Add some comments if you have any extra tips on how to avoid crashing and win fear. Also, don't forget to like the video and subscribe the channel. As usual, I wait you here next Thursday, 6:30 p.m. London time.